Now, this week's local elections could have been the last where 16 and 17-year-olds weren't able to take part. The government's set to press ahead in the next session of Parliament with proposals to lower the voting age in England. Ministers argue it would increase political engagement, but opponents are worried that teenagers don't have enough life experience to cast the ballot. Seb Noble's been to find out what 16 and 17-year-olds in Cornwall think about the idea.
Students at Truro College, the voters of the future and fans of plans to widen the franchise.
If from the age of 16 you're able to build in the habits of voting, staying politically informed, you're much more likely to carry that on into later life.
16 to 17-year-olds can be very informed because despite maybe not knowing exact policies and the whole manifesto, accessing content from politicians is incredibly easy because having things like Instagram and TikTok pages, you can see it as you scroll.
If you are eligible to go into work and start paying taxes, then you should have a say on how your taxes are used.
Not all are in favour though.
I feel like young people have seen less different governments, they don't know how it works much, they're going to be more optimistic and probably fall for populism, really. They're just not going to think it through enough.
At that age, you're focusing on exams and stuff and sort of like looking more towards the future. And I think adding the pressure of having to stay politically informed and, you know, vote and have opinion on these things, it's kind of just adding to an issue that already exists of like youth stress and stuff.
So how informed do they think young people are about politics?
I'm quite lucky in the fact I've got a friend group who is very kind of political. But then I know that some of their friends, for example, they just think it's really boring. Anytime we try and talk about that, like, oh, let's talk about something else, it doesn't really interest them as much.
I feel like we need to put something in place to educate the youth for when they get this vote.
This is the social, with politicians increasingly coming on to their turf.
I follow lots of the main political figures on social media, and that gives you a sort of broad picture of politics at the moment, which is always helpful.
Do you follow all of them?
I do, yeah.
Do you think most young people follow all of them?
I think that algorithms will target people based on who they follow, and therefore, you know, your political feed will be very biased to maybe the views that you'd want to see and not views that might challenge your existing opinions.
What issues affecting young people do you wish politicians were focusing more on?
Predominantly the environment. We're still in a political position where like the severity of it is not really considered.
University is becoming more and more inaccessible for people because the tuition fees are just so high, and I know that a lot of young people are worried about student loans and getting into debt when they go to university.
Being able to afford a house now, it's getting more and more expensive. So if younger people can't afford a house, well, they're all going to end up homeless.
So come the crunch, how many would actually vote?
You'd all vote.
We have to care and we have to vote in a way that we think will benefit us. Otherwise, it will be the older generations voting and they might misrepresent our interests or just vote solely for themselves. So I think it is important that we are engaged.